like the way I am. Though I've got a long way to go, I like the road that I'm on. Every day I'm learning more. Every day I'm learning more. I like the way I made. Not another one quite like me, no. After all is said and done, I'm happy with me. Happy with me. I like the way I am. Though I've got a long way to go, I like the road that I'm on. And every day I'm learning more.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining Sanctity of Sisterhood tonight. I am my sister's keeper. Thank you again for tuning in. We have a special treat for you on tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about dealing with our emotions, because how many of you understand that it's time that we seek balance, social, emotional, physical, and spiritual self-awareness. If you feel good socially, emotionally, and physically and spiritually, then it's easy to learn and focus. The stresses of life are more easily managed if you maintain balance in your personal life. And so tonight I have two amazing guests, and we're going to discuss we're going to discuss physical and spiritual wellness, because it is essential, and especially in this day and time that we're living in with everything going on. So we thank you for tuning in. Just a few housekeeping. I'm asking that you share this video out. Share this video. We want to get it out. We want everybody to be a part of it. We have amazing information, and we want to just let the world know that we are here and we are ready to talk about it. Post your comments, your questions, and let's get started. Tonight I have the pleasure of having my cousin Tia Crawford. She's an Army Master Sergeant. She's a master fitness trainer, bodybuilder, competitor, and a fitness instructor. Welcome, my cousin Tia, on tonight. You can have a few words.
Hi, it's so good to be here. I appreciate this opportunity, and I hope and pray that we can answer your questions, whatever you may have, and get you started on the goal to physical and spiritual wellness.
Next up, we have my sister. Had the pleasure of knowing her for many years. She was my matron of honor. And so she is the youth pastor of Full Effect Gospel Ministries. She has a passion for youth and young adults. And she's an entrepreneur along with her husband of the Freeland Enterprises. Please welcome Shamel Freeland.
Hey guys, it's so good to be here with you all. I'm so happy to be on this platform sharing with my sisters in Christ. And I pray that something is said today that will be a blessing to you all. Hello, Facebook. Share this for us.
Yes, please share it for us. We want to get into it tonight. Please share this and post comments if you have it. Good evening, Verna. Thank you for always joining us every single week. So we're going to start with physical. Tia, tell us, how long have you been in this physical fitness way of life?
I've been in the Army for 25 years. So I've always been into being physically fit because they demand that you have a physical fitness standard. But I've been bodybuilding for the past 4 years, and which is another level of discipline. It's a totally different level of discipline. So I've been bodybuilding for the past 44 years, and I've just always been a person to not do it because I just want to look good on the outside, but I want to feel good on the inside. So that's my ultimate goal when it comes to fitness, anything fitness. So I don't do it just to be cute and look good. I do it to be healthy and to feel good.
Awesome. And so, Shamel, I know recently you just started on your physical fitness journey, right? So what has that been like for you?
It's been amazing. I feel amazing. I realized that this is not about just losing weight, but it's more so about how you feel from day to day. I feel more energetic. I'm sticking to this regimen. This regimen is not a diet. It is a new way of life for me and my family. I couldn't just do it for myself, but my whole family decided to shift how we eat.
That's awesome. You know, a lot of times people feel like, you know, oh, I just got to diet. But it truly has to be a change of life, right? It has to be a shifting in our minds first. So Tia, tell us, I know you said you've been in the army, you've always been into fitness, but I mean, there was a time where, you know, you were just, you weren't always with that same mindset. So did it take for you to really shift into focusing on physical fitness?
Well, so I always tell everybody there's 4 attributes to being physically fit or physically well, really from the inside out. So you first have to eat well, then you have to be disciplined, then you have to get rest for your body, and then you have to have a routine. So you have to have a routine. But the biggest of them all is discipline. So although I've always been physically fit, and I think I was physically fit only because the Army mandated that I be physically fit because they were making me physically fit. But it wasn't until I actually became disciplined and saw the changes in my body and felt the way I felt when I actually took pride in what I was doing physically. And that's at the point where I was like, okay, this is more than just being cute or meeting a standard. This takes a lot of work. It does. It really takes a lot of work. And emotionally, if you don't have the discipline emotionally, you will not reach those goals. And to me, you have to become physically fit, not just obtain a goal. You have to want to become it so it can become a lifestyle. So you have to find a diet. You can't say, I'm going to diet. You have to say, I'm going to eat well. That's what I tell people, eat well. Just find your calorie count, how much your body can intake. Change that food to stop thinking of, oh, I'm going to fill my body. I'm going to eat today. I'm going to work out. I'm going to fill my body. No, fuel your body. Fuel your body. Because you can go to McDonald's and you can be filled and hit your macros in that one meal. But you can have 6 meals a day. Fuel. I mean, healthy, lean proteins, good carbs, veggies, and you're fueling your body. That way you have the energy. You have the energy to work out. You have the energy to keep going. And so I always tell people to not look at it as, oh, I want to have a flat stomach or I want to have a big booty. But you want to become healthy. You want to become physically well. So I had to get to that point. So at first it was just because of the Army. Then when I started bodybuilding, it was about me because bodybuilding was a goal. It was a goal that I set for myself when I reached the age 40. I wanted to get on stage. I wanted to prove a point. I wanted to see my body make these changes, not because somebody told me, but because this is what I wanted. And when I actually saw it and I believed it and I felt it, that's when I was like, okay, I'm physically well.
Awesome. So Verna says, what's your definition of being physically fit? And is it tied to being mentally fit?
So my definition of being physically fit is physically well from the inside out, like I said. So you want to have a balanced lifestyle. You want to be able to move. You don't have to do strenuous workouts and stuff like that. You just want to be at a point where you can do something throughout the day, where you can move, where you can walk, where you can pick up a band, because you want to be active with your children. You want to be active in your church. You want to be active in your life. So you want to have a lifestyle where you're not sluggish and you're not tired. And because when you're sluggish, tired, that messes with your mental. Seriously, it really takes a toll on your mental. And when you start seeing your body at a place and you start feeling that place, that's when I say you obtain physical wellness, because physically fit is just looking cute. And that cute can be anything to anybody.
Right.
You can be 300 pounds and feel like you're physically fit. But until you have a balanced lifestyle, healthy eating, moving, getting some type of workout in, and also having a daily routine and being able to rest, until you can do those things and have that like that organization, that flow in your life, you're not physically fit.
Yes, I agree with that. So Shamel, since you've been on this journey, what has your journey, what has it been like for you? How long have you been doing it?
Honestly, I think I started right before the pandemic hit in March. And so at first it happened in my mind. I made up my mind that I was going to do this. And it started happening in my mind. I started becoming conscious about what I put in my body. I started becoming more conscious about how I cook. I've always been an organic person and things of that nature, but I started to realize that even cooking with organic foods, that wasn't cooking with organic products, it wasn't enough. I had to incorporate more greens into my diet. I had to even get a regimen because I didn't have one before. So I got on TLC and I started doing a regimen and I was serious about it and I prayed about it. I said, you know what's missing? I need to know how to do this spiritually, to purify myself spiritually and physically. I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. So I prayed about it. I asked God to give me insight, legit, no lying or exaggerating. I prayed about it because I've tried things before and it just didn't work out. And so this time, I took a stab at it and I did little by little, and every time I would add something else to it. I would add more onto it. So I wouldn't feel overwhelmed with totally changing my lifestyle altogether.
Awesome, awesome. Because I know for some people, they feel like, physical fitness and dieting is just, like you said, like their way of life, but there are different perspectives to it. And so, we've got to be careful that, we got to know that it does start in your mind. We've got to make conscious decisions on what we're going to do. And like Tia said, like you have to be committed to what you're doing. And if it doesn't start in your mind, because how many people wake up every Monday and say, I'm going to do it today. Today's a fresh start. I'm going to start today. I ate whatever I wanted to do all the weekend. It's a new day. Or you started out Monday, Tuesday, and then by Wednesday, you was like, forget this. I don't see no weight loss. I'm not. And then it was right back to square one. So Tia, how would you encourage people to start their journey and continue?
Okay, so first of all, they need a goal. You always need a goal. So you set that goal and say your goal is, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. So you need to find out what that looks like. So you have to. I use my Fitness Pal for everything, and I have a coach, but I also train. So I train people, so I know what to do. But I use my Fitness Pal, and I log in all my meals. I log in my workouts. So I have my calories. I have a set amount of calories that I need to reach my goals. So I go into my Fitness Pal, log in my meals, and I make sure I stay in that calorie count. So that's the first thing you have to do is figure out a goal. So whatever your goal is, once you have that goal, then you start working on what do I need to eat? What do I need to put in my body in order to get to this goal? And that's when you can use that. MyFitnessPal is amazing. So you don't need a trainer to tell you anything. You can go in there, put your height, weight, your birthday, and your goal in there. It'll tell you how many calories you need to eat a day, and you stick to that. And you should lose that amount of weight that MyFitnessPal tells you you'll lose in a week. So if it's 2 pounds a week, you should see it if you stuck to that goal for that week. So first thing first is to figure out your goal.
All right. So ladies, write that down. First things first, figure out your goal. Download MyFitnessPal and start there. Shamel, what have been your goals that have helped you to stay focused? Because I know you said that you started, for it's been a few months that you've been doing this now. So what has helped you to stay consistent on your physical fitness journey?
My toddler, my 2-year-old, having to run
By any
behind the
means
toddler.
necessary, right?
Yeah, because they get you tired. And I don't need to be winded running behind a 2-year-old. And that truly was my motivation. I don't want to be the fat mom running behind a quick little kid and everybody's like, oh my God, what she's doing. You know what I mean? And I'm making light of it. But the truth of the matter is, when you have a child, you have to be physically able to keep up with that child. And so she was my motivation. And then, my husband, he was diagnosed with diabetes maybe 2 years ago. And I've seen him battle numbers, sugar levels going up, sugar levels going down. He has it under control for the most part. But I'm like, well, how can we contribute to him not having to take medication as a family? And so it has become a family thing for us. Vitamins every single morning, and making sure this pandemic really, really made me see how important. I always was health conscious, but the pandemic made me understand that living a healthy lifestyle will help you live longer. And you know that. But when death is knocking at doors that are right around you, you're like, wait a minute, I know I got the blood of Jesus on the doorpost, but what can I do to physically make sure that nothing can come nigh my dwelling place?
Right.
And so there is a role that we have to play as believers. And, we shouldn't need a miracle to get diabetes down. Miracles are for things that are out of our control. And if you can stop eating a certain kind of way, or adding certain vitamins to your life, or supplements to your life, or cutting certain things out, then that limits what you need to go to God for. You know what I mean? We're always going to need God, but let's give God a break. We go to him for diabetes, for high blood pressure, when those things are within our own reach. We can get those things down by eating properly, monitoring what we put in our bodies. And so my family is what really, really pushed me. I could have been 20 pounds heavier and put on some nice clothes and got me a good faja, and y'all would have never saw all my fat. But I really, really, really wanted to feel good when I wake up in the morning, and feel good when I go to bed at night, and not be so tired midday that I feel like I need to take a nap.
Absolutely. Because with 2-year-olds, you be feeling like you need to take a nap.
You need to take a nap.
Listen,
Right.
everybody, please like and share this post. Put your questions out there. That's what these ladies are here for. Ask your questions so we can answer them. So, Tia, explain to us, what does physical fitness look like? What are the first things we should do when we want to start working out?
Okay, so the workouts, of course, is going to be catered to what your body, what you can do, and if you have any underlying conditions. So I always recommend resistance. That means bands, weights, light weights, or whatever. Um, I don't mean you have to get muscular, but I always recommend resistance, because you want to hold on to a certain amount of muscle, because muscle is what creates the curvature. So a lot of people think that you go out and do a whole lot of cardio and stuff, and you just get skinny and you're toned. There's no such thing as being toned. I can't stand that word. It's about building muscle. So when you build muscle, you get that curvature. So I always recommend the resistance, the balance. So add in that resistance, and you don't have to do a whole lot of cardio. You don't have to do that, because that's where the wear and tear comes in if you're doing too much. So I say do what your body can handle. Add in a little bit of resistance, add in some cardio, and start. If you can afford a gym membership, I always say start with doing aerobics classes. You can pull up YouTube videos. You don't have to have a gym membership. I take that back. Start with aerobics, because they're going to teach you the form. You have somebody in front of you, an instructor in front of you. They're going to teach you form. And so whenever you get tired of that and you can go into the gym, you'll know what to do when you pick up a weight. So that's what I recommend as far as working out.
I actually started with YouTube. YouTube was like one of the things I just say, you know what, Monday I'm just gonna go on YouTube and I'm just gonna start working out with, doing a beginner's workout. And I did it and I was consistent with it. I fell off, to be honest, I fell off, but I started to make it conscious. So now when it's time for Naomi to go outside to play every day, that's my time to do my running. So while she's running, I'm running, and that way we're doing it together. It's fun for both of us. Children need to work out as well. A lot of children, they develop breathing issues and things of that nature because they're not getting enough movement. And even in this pandemic, we know that we were supposed to be inside most of the time. But find a safe place to walk with your children and be able to get that active, get that heart pumping.
Yes, that's very important. In the pandemic, we know that, the gyms are closed, right? In some, depending on where you live. My cousin lives in Mississippi, so she's able to go back to the gym. She does a lot of things, which includes she works out what 3 times a day, Tia, 3 or 4 times a day she works out. And you may not be able to work out that much, but if you can work out once every day, that is a start. Use what you have. Like Shamel said, she went on YouTube. Use that to better help yourself to get fit. So Tia, I want to ask, what would you say is a good way to start healthy eating? What are good things to eat? Because I know a lot of us think that eating salad is what we should be eating in order to lose weight.
Okay, so I my favorite type of eating, dieting, or whatever is flexible. It's called flexible dieting or flexible eating. So that's what I do. So I have my set amount of macros. So that means I can eat a certain amount of proteins, carbs, and fats a day. And with those macros, as long as I stay in those macros, I can pretty much eat whatever I want. Okay, so if you're not good with a boring everyday eating the same thing, I recommend flexible and just figuring out what your calorie count should be and how much fats and proteins and carbs you should be taking in a day, and then stick with that. But I will say you stick with lean proteins, good carbs like rice. I eat rice. That's my carb because that's what my body, that's how my body responds to rice. So rice is my carb, but rice, sweet potatoes, rice cakes, stuff like that, and try to do healthy snacks. They have protein cookies, protein muffins, anything you like. You can get it healthier. Try to eat healthier snacks. But if you stay in that calorie count, you can actually eat whatever you want, to be honest with you.
So you're saying that people don't necessarily have to cut out the rice, the bread, all of those things that that we think we should eliminate in order to lose weight.
Yeah, you need a balanced meal. You need carbs because carbs is where you get your energy. You need protein because that's what builds the muscle. And the fats is part of that. You need healthy fats, avocado, nuts, and stuff like that to have a balanced diet, in order for your body to respond, you have to have a balance of the three. So I never recommend cutting anything. Carbs is I eat 325 grams of carbs every day. So carbs is my biggest one because I'm a bodybuilder, so I'm building muscle, but I never suggest cutting anything because you need that in order to strengthen your body.
Awesome. So Shamel, have you had to cut any of those things, or how do you eat now? I know you said you shifted your way of cooking and the things that you cook. What does your meal prep look like?
I think I've added more greens. Like every meal has some type of green. I try not to cook them down too much so that we won't lose the nutrients in the greens. I do love rice as well, but I don't eat a lot. And so instead of having like 3 or 4 big things of rice scooped out on my plate. I may just eat a smaller portion of rice and let that be the smaller portion on my plate. The carbs would be the smaller portion on my plate, and let the greens overpower everything else. Of course, I make sure that I do eat the proteins, try to stay away from fried foods, try to put as much as I can on the grill, and not eat all of the fatty saturated. Olive oil is my best friend. It goes on everything. I don't overdo cooking with oils. I try to let the natural oils that are in the foods come out of the foods, because usually, even in all meat, there are natural oils in all the meat. So you don't have to saturate your pan with a lot of meats. I also use sprays instead of using oil. Where I can substitute oil, I'll use like an olive oil spray to grease my pans while I'm cooking. So yeah, I've had to definitely monitor what I ate the day before. I try to plan out for the week what the dinner is gonna look like for all of us. And I do eat. I eat salads and fruits, and I do meal replacements, which help me lose weight. Instead of having 3 full meals when I was needing to lose more the weight, I stopped eating 3 full meals, and I substitute one of those meals with a meal replacement shake, which would consist of maybe like oat milk with uh, I stopped the bananas because I found out that that was high in sugars and stuff. So I try to just use berries, strawberries, blueberries, and things of that nature, put it in a shake, and let that be one of my meals.
That's good advice. Hi, Lady Doctor. Thank you for joining us on this evening. So
Hey,
I
girl.
want to I want to talk a little bit, Tia. So what would you suggest that we do to for someone on here that is saying, I want to really, I'm serious about my health, I'm really ready to start. Just give us a few points on how to get started, and then sticking to that. I know you mentioned a few things, but some people are new on here, so briefly talk to us.
Okay. So the first thing is that you want to go, you want to set a goal. And then once you set that goal, you want to figure out how you're going to attain that goal. So you need to start by, like I said, download that MyFitnessPal or write down your meals. Any type of health tracker, because a lot of phones come with health trackers. I know Samsung have one, I'm sure Apple have one. But you go in and you log in your meals and stay within that calorie count. Set your workout. Say, hey, I'm going to do 3 to 4, work out 3 to 4 times a week. Sit down on your day, your rest day, and plan out your week. You have to have a routine. You have to be disciplined, because that's the one thing I learned, and this is physically and spiritually, that it takes discipline, because with discipline is growth and comfort does not coexist. Discipline, in order to grow, it takes discipline. So comfort is out of the window. There're gonna be some struggles, there're gonna be some days you fall back, you fall off, but you have to have that discipline. You have to have that daily routine. You have to give your body rest. You have to stick to your goal. When you fall off, that's when you go back to what you know, because you have that discipline. Because in order for your body to grow, in order for muscles to grow, they have to tear. So in order for that, once they tear, they heal and they get stronger. Same with your spiritual life. In order for you to get to that goal spiritually, in order for you to do what it is that God is calling you to do, you have to allow your mind and your soul to tear. And then once it tear, it'll heal and it'll come back stronger. But you have to stay in the fight. You cannot give up. You cannot allow to fail that test. When your faith is tested, or when your goals is tested, I'm telling you, you have to rely on that discipline. So discipline is very important. So set your goals, find a way to attain that goal, and then do a weekly routine. Sit down, write it down, and then you could do that routine, stick to it for a month before you change it again. Just write it down and stick to it, and take baby steps. But that's what I recommend.
Awesome advice. Awesome advice, guys. This is my cousin, spiritual fitness Army Master Sergeant. Thank you, Tia, for that amazing advice. Shamel, talk to us about spiritual discipline.
Spiritual discipline is something that we have to incorporate in our everyday life. We cannot not be spiritually disciplined, because we'll find ourselves in a whirlwind of sin and a whirlwind of doing any and everything. Any doctrine that come will fall right into it if we are not spiritually disciplined. I know there's a saying that says, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so when you're spiritually fit, that means that you're doing something to exercise your faith. You're doing something to exercise getting in your mind to upload information into it, and downloading the word of God in your spirit on a daily basis, talking to God always. As we all know, we have to have a prayer life. In order for us to be able to withstand the wiles of the enemy, we're going to have a prayer life, because God will give us what's happening when we're praying. God will show us things when we pray to him. He'll give us divine inspiration. He'll give us divine intervention. He'll intervene for us. And so in order for us to be spiritually fit, we have to constantly exercise our spirituality. We have to constantly exercise prayer, faith, constantly exercising the word of God, understanding that there is something in the word of God for every situation that we might endure. The Bible tells us to endure hardness like a good soldier. And so when you're a soldier, we got a soldier right here, you know that tearing those muscles and going the extra mile and going the distance, and if you fall out, getting back up and going again, and not standing there and worried about your wound. I've watched war movies where the soldiers were getting hurt, and there will be other soldiers that will come and get that soldier, and one is patching them up while the others are dragging them to the safety. And that is what your show is, the Sanctity of Sisterhood. We're patching each other up and dragging ourselves on to safety. And so we know that when we become spiritually fit, we won't be so quick to offend others. We won't be so quick to judge others. We won't be so quick to do things. And I think the ladies that do that we have to even sometimes pardon them, because maybe they're not spiritually fit, and so we want to restore those women and even ourselves in love.
Absolutely. We've got to extend grace to people. I've been saying it all along, when we look back over our lives and the things, and the people that we've encountered, how many times have we went back and tried to patch up our sister, or tried to, worry about, their wounds and how they felt about something. And, we're seeing it in the times, right? So we've got to truly make up our minds that while we're, getting our minds and everything together, that we're also, I don't really like the word practicing, but we're becoming what we're saying, right? And so we've got to make sure that we are, whatever we say, that we're backing it up with what we do. And that's what it's all about, extending the hand to one another, lifting one another up, because that is what's going to push us and propel us to our next levels in fitness and in our spiritual walk. Tia, how has your spiritual journey been for you during this pandemic time?
Woo, it's been tested. I mean, so I love this quote, and it just sticks with me. So it says, "How you do one thing is how you do everything." So I always let that.
Wait 1 second, everybody. Somebody type that in. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Share this video out. Someone type that in the comments. How you do one thing is how you do everything. That was amazing. Everything. Go ahead, Tia.
Yes.
I love it.
And now I'm really seeing that. I'm seeing it. Like I always thought I lived by it, but I'm actually like seeing it being quarantined, because I'm seeing that I'm not as disciplined as I thought. You know, because sometimes like we compartmentalize. You can't compartmentalize discipline. You can't compartmentalize sin. If you a sinner, you a sinner. If you're not disciplined in your physical, if you're not disciplined enough to say, oh, hey, I'm getting up and going to run today, and you 3 days later, you still saying the same thing, then when it's time to sit down and get on your knees and pray, you're going to be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So this quarantine is really making me see a lot of faults. Spiritually, physically, financially. I had to get my finances straight, but I didn't see that until I had to sit still.
Wow.
So my discipline really, I'm really not as disciplined as I thought I was. I'm telling you. So that quote, although I've always lived with it, you know, but I'm really seeing that it wasn't resonating. So yeah, my spiritual walk has been tested, but I'm growing though, sitting still. I'm learning and growing in this quarantine. So more in my word, you know, more in my prayer life, just as hard as I go in the gym, that's how I want to be for God. And so I'm definitely growing. Even though I've been tested, I see where my faults are and I'm growing.
That's amen. That's really awesome. Shamel, how has it been for you? I know we've spoken, but share with the people. You've started something new in this pandemic. Just share with us, how has it been for you?
It's been amazing. It's been a lot of self-discovery for me in this pandemic, like truly spiritually, naturally, a lot of self-discovery. And so during this time I realized that we have natural gifts that God has given us that a lot of times we don't even tap into, we don't use. We're using them daily, it's a part of our daily lives, but we're not using them purposefully. And so God has given me the ability to see decor. God has given me the ability to see beautiful things and to bring beautiful things out of almost anything. And so I was only using that for hair, for makeup, for wardrobes and things of that nature. But then I started focusing in my home. And so being a homemaker, being a woman, a wife that stays home and take care of my daughter, stay home, take care of my family, it showed me that, wow, I'm actually good at this. I can do this and I like doing this. And so I started documenting some of the things that I would do in my home and some of the mental I started taking mental notes about how I had to mentally prepare to do certain tasks in my house so that the home can run without chaos and so that there can be an atmosphere of peace here and love and togetherness. And so I started a business called Manicured Hands in this pandemic, and I'm working on it now. And so you guys will be you'll see more and more about it in the upcoming days. And so I didn't just want to throw something out there. I prayed about it. I'm still praying about it on how am I going to reach. And it's not just a plan for women that are wives and mothers, but for women that are on the go. But when you come home, you want home to feel like a home. Everybody has a residence. If you're not homeless, you have a residence,
Right.
but not everyone has a home. And so God told me to show women, wives, and ladies how to make their residence a home. And so that's the business that he gave me, and that's what I'm working on now. And it's really a lot of self-discovery in me, even doing that to help other women. It's a lot of patience that I'm learning that we have to have as women. We get upset and frustrated at the kids, at the husband, and things like that. And so having plans set in place, having systems set in place, having schedules set in place that everyone in the household is accountable to, including yourself, helps build the home. And so it's going to be a modern guide for ladies to take their residence into the level of a beautiful home.
And I can't wait. Like, I mean, I've seen little clips and I can't wait because how many of you ladies are ready to make your residence into a home. And I can attest to that. I've been, in this pandemic, I've been doing some things in my own home as well. We changed the floors, I painted the kitchen, just truly trying to make my residence a home of, like you said, love and peace, because those things contribute to our emotional decisions and to our spiritual and our physical wellness, right? So yeah, our well-being. We all, in this time that we're living in, it's imperative that we have peace in our residence, in our homes. And so you have all the time in the world. I think the other day I heard Lady McGinnis say to us, like, you have all the time now to do it. So we don't have any excuses on why our homes are still a mess. Why, like Tia said, she's been working on her finances because she realized that she wasn't as disciplined as she thought. And so now we have the time to become more disciplined in our finances and our spiritual walk. And we've got to work on those things while we have time, right? While we're home. Tia, tell us how have you handled your your emotions in regards to dealing with people in your life?
Well, I would have to say that the military has really helped me out in that aspect, because it teaches you to be strong. It teaches you to be strong when it comes to what you say, how you say it, how you treat people how you want to be treated. There's consequences for the way you treat people, although you may not think so. It does not matter who you are and what position you in. There's always somebody higher. There's always somebody that you have to answer to. So I just always remember that you don't know what people are going through in their lives. You don't know what they're dealing with in their homes. You don't know what they're dealing with in their minds. And so I never walk out of my house heavy burdened. I never allow people to see me heavy burdened. So with that, I'm always smiling. I mean, if I have stuff going on, I don't internalize anything. I have people that I talk to, but I also don't put my burdens on the world. I always make myself available, and I always have a smile on my face. So I don't really have a whole lot of negative dealings with people because of that, because I have that army mentality instilled in me, because there's consequences for your actions. That's what they teach us. And that is key for me. There's consequences. So do what your rank can handle. That's what they tell us.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that sticks with me. So I treat people how I want to be treated. And I don't, I don't really have a lot of negative dealings.
Do what your rank
can
handle. Wait, that'll preach.
Yeah.
Do what your rank can handle. So what does that mean to you in the Army?
So in the Army, if you're a private, you do what a private can handle. Because once you step out of the place of a private, once you do something that a private is not authorized to do, guess what? You might be sitting on the couch, civilian. So if this is your livelihood, if this is what you're compassionate about, if this is what you take pride in, this is your job, do what your rank and your position can handle. Because you don't want to have to be humiliated and suffer the consequences, and now you're homeless or you without a job, or you lose your rank, so that's what that means. Just do what your rank do what your rank can handle. If you think that you can do that and get away with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shamel, how would you incorporate that spiritually?
I would say don't step into territories spiritually that you can't handle alone. You have to take God with you everywhere you go, quite naturally, right? But sometimes people try to go and answer on their own recognizance. They try to use their intellect instead of using the word of God. They'll use their intellect. And there's certain places in life that you have to rely on the wisdom of God. You can't rely on your degree. You can't rely on your past experiences, but you need God to step out of time and into your mind and speak for you. And so we can't, when that thing is so good, do what your rank can handle. If I know that I cannot handle going out into the clubs to minister to women, to pull them in, because when I hear Beyonce, it still makes me want to turn up a little bit. I'm not going to do that.
Well, maybe not Beyonce now. What they turn Cardi B.
Oh no, or other one, Megan Stallion.
Oh,
That one. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just, in that sense, do what you know you can handle. Don't fool yourself. Keep it 100 with yourself. Keep it real with yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. A lot of people mess up when they're trying to be Charmaine Loho. You don't have the anointing to be Charmaine. Charmaine has the anointing to be Charmaine. So do what God has called you to do, so that you won't get caught out there in an area that you don't even have the anointing for.
And if we get caught out there, how can we come back from it? Just encourage us.
If you get caught out there, you might need to call for help. Don't you let pride stop you from calling for help. You scream loud and spare not. Help. And if it's not anybody else within ear reach, you cry out to God and you tell God, I need your help. I need you to come to me right now. Dispatch the angels. That's why you got to have a prayer life. Because when you cry out, God hears you and he responds. He's not a late God. He's an on-time God.
He's not a late God, everybody. He's an on-time God. He's an on-time God. If you have questions, post them. We're here to answer them. We're here to help you. I think I saw Sister Ann said she needs help with discipline in all areas of her life. And this is why we're here to help encourage. So if you have questions, let's put them up there. Lady Fanta, I saw she said she needs that on a t-shirt. No worries. That will be on a t-shirt. Do what your rank can handle. Because that blessed me on tonight. I don't know about you. That was good all by itself. But Shamel was absolutely right. Like, we've got to stop being so afraid to talk to someone. We're not an island unto ourselves. I know the world would like us to be secluded and isolate ourselves. And, you hear people say it's a lonely walk. I'd rather walk alone. No, there is somebody that God has for you.
That's right.
And so I heard you say that you have people that you talk to. You don't put your burdens on the world, and you don't carry much. I'm a witness of that. This is my biological cousin, my first cousin, and I don't think I've ever seen her cry. It's probably the military in her, and she does not vent much. And tell us how. We know it's the military life, but those few friends, how have they helped you?
Well, so that's good, because you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's the issue with a lot of folk. You want to be popular instead of surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. And if they're not like-minded, it's okay to be alone. It's okay for it to just be you. Don't try to fit in. So I've learned that. I've learned my lesson from that. So I surround myself with people that's career focused, people that's spiritual minded, that can pray, people that don't gossip, because I am not a gossiper. So, and my stepmom is on here. She tell you, I will shut them down. I will shut you down.
I'm a witness. You will.
I cannot stand that. So if you want to eliminate drama from your life, if you want to have wholesome friends, surround yourself with people that think like you. Surround yourself with people that's going to tell you when you're wrong, and not let you walk out the house looking crazy. And stop being mad when people correct you. if you wrong, just you wrong.
That's
You
right.
know, that's the type of people that you want in your life. So the people that I have in my life are amazing because I chose them. I purposely chose them for me. So, and I do mental interviews when I talk to people, or when you become my friend, when I can say you're my friend, I've done a mental interview, and I trust you with my life. So you have to surround yourself with people that you can actually really confide in, and that you trust, people that you trust. So
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things and one of the biggest issues we have amongst each other as women, because yeah, we want to be, some of us want to befriend everybody, and we use the term sis for everybody. And like Tia said, you have to have a mental assessment of people, especially for where you want to go in life, right? So briefly, when I first had the pleasure of meeting Shamel, I went to full effect for a service that Lady McGinnis was having. I did not know Shamel. After the service, I went to go say goodbye to Lady McGinnis, and she said, "Oh, there's someone here that I want you to meet, that I feel like you should be a part of each other's lives. Like, I just feel like you guys will have a great connection." I'm like, okay, fine. At first you're a little leery, like, but I trusted her enough to make that connection. And ever since then, Shamel and I have been close. Now, have our friendship been tested? Absolutely, like any other friendship, right? But I thank God that, like Tia said, we are like-minded. We have the same aspirations, not maybe everything, but we have the same goals, whether it be ministry, it's our homes. She pushes me to be better, as well as I know that I have pushed her to be better. And these are the type of people that we have to be around. Shamel, what would you say about being around people that are like-minded? How has that helped you?
I'm wholehearted that you have to be around like-minded people and be around people that are doing better than you as well. Having those friends that are more educated than you, that can push you to learn a little more. Everybody around you can't always tell you how wonderful and amazing you are. You
Mhm.
need some friends to tell you, "Girl, are you crazy?" You need some friends. Of course, everybody should be encouraging you, but like you said, take that mental note. I got in a situation. How did they respond to that? Did they go tell everybody else about my business? And how did they handle me when I was in the fall? You know what I mean? Like, did
Mhm.
they really just come to me and say, "Look, we need to have a conversation"? And that's what real sisters do. Real sisters have hard conversations. And so I just don't want the friends around me and the people around me that's going to clap when I do
Mhm.
something amazing. But when they see me doing something crazy, say, "You need to really chill, because that's not going to take you anywhere." And love me through it all. Love me until I get better. Love me on the level that I'm on. That's something my first lady always say. Love me right where I am, or I'm going to love them right where they are. And when your friendship is tested and tried, you withstand that. You still stand up and say, the friendship, the sisterhood means
Mm.
more to me than the mess that's going on. So I'm not going to stop until we work this thing out. When it means something to you, you stay up late, you wake up early in the morning to fix it. Friendships are relationships, and you don't have, everybody can't have the same level in your life, right?
Mhm.
So when I have real serious stuff, I need to just talk. I got people that I can go to, and they're going to give me spiritual feedback. You got people that should pique your intellect emotionally. Every friend that you have in your life may represent something different. And I think when we fall out with people, it's because we put too much expectations on them when they didn't deserve it or earn it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got to extend grace to people. We've got to see, like you said, we've got to see past people's faults sometimes, because honestly, it's really sometimes a trick of the enemy, and people don't always know that the enemy is using them. And so we've got to, like you said, have that discerning of spirit to see who we're really dealing with. What are we dealing with? Because it might not be the person, it just could be the spirit that's working in them, that they are not strong enough or mature enough to get past. And so if we throw people away, then we haven't given them the opportunity to mature. And that's what it's all about, giving people the opportunity to mature. So thank you, ladies, for tonight. We're about to wrap up pretty soon. Tia, would you leave with us some last minute words?
Well, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure and an honor to have this opportunity to chat with you ladies. And if you ever have any questions about reaching any goals, physically, spiritually, financially, anything, you can always friend me on Facebook, call me, text me, whatever you need. I'm here. And like I said, set those goals and find ways to attain those goals. Start you a routine. Write down your routine, your weekly routine. Stick to it. Endure the hardship, and you will be just fine. So have a blessed night.
Thank you, cuz. Thank you. You are amazing. Again, her name is Tia Crawford. Please friend her. My cousin is amazing. She's so nice, and she will definitely help you out. She is a blessing. So please don't feel like, oh, I'm going to be a bother to her. She doesn't mind. So, Shamel, leave with us some encouraging words.
Ladies, I want you all to know that you are wonderful. You are amazing. Despite of anything that you've gone through, wear your scars as beauty marks because they're indications that you have been somewhere, so you have experience. There's nothing like a woman with some good experience that carry it with poise. Keep yourself in a place of love, a place of self-awareness. Keep a prayer life. Increase your prayer life. Be encouraged that you can do anything that you want to do. Even if you started off slow, taking slow steps means you're still moving. And although time may be ticking, it just means, and this is from our movie You Call Me Ugly, if your clock is still ticking, it means that it's still working. So even though time is going on you, don't worry about that. You keep moving, you keep pushing, you keep believing God. Set those goals, achieve them one by one, clear the clutter in your life, focusing on one thing, one goal at a time. Tell yourself that every day. I am going to achieve one goal at a time. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Continue to love God and love yourself. You deserve it. If you want to talk, I'm also on Facebook.
Yes, absolutely. You could friend my sis. She's amazing in her own right as well. Honestly, I know that I can go to her about anything, and she never steers me wrong, no matter what it is. We need those friends. So thank you, sis, on tonight. You guys will definitely be back. There will be a part 2 to this. So thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you, sis.
Thank everybody for tuning in tonight with us. I really hope that you have taken notes. I hope that tonight's segment has changed you or changed your mind, has made you think about things differently, has opened your mind up and your heart to see in this pandemic, in this time where you may have fallen short. And that's okay, because like Shamel said, the clock is still ticking and you still have time to get it right. You still have time to get your goals out there. Write them down. Say that I'm going to accomplish them one day at a time. Put affirmations on your wall, on your mirror, in your bedroom, and repeat them every day. You may not know a scripture to repeat every day, but repeat what your goals and your aspirations and the vision that you have for your life. Please, for more information, inbox us, Sanctity of Sisterhood page. Please share the page, share our official page, share this video tonight, invite your friends, like it. Let's get the word out. We're not keeping this to ourselves. This is a movement. This is a movement. Sanctity of Sisterhood. I am my sister's keeper. What about you? Thank you for joining us on tonight. This has been amazing. Shamel and Tia, you ladies are amazing. Like them, friend request them, guys. They're here to help you. I'm here to help you. You have my inbox information. If you need anything, I'm here for you. We're here for you. We love you. God bless you. Don't forget to say your prayers. Make sure you're in the house before 11 p.m. We don't want you getting caught up in no mess tonight that's going on in the streets. Stay safe. Pray over your family. God bless you. Good night. I love you.